Good afternoon. We are having a panel discussion today with our trades and our construction experts who are in our local area. And we're going to get started out by having them introduce themselves. So, Jack, if you'd like to get started.
Sure. My name is Jack Turner. I'm the construction manager at Rockford Area Habitat, in charge of all building there.
And my name is Paul Nolley. I'm the executive director of Project First Rate.
So first of all, we want to thank you both for being here today. We do know that in many of our buildings there are elective programs, and we know that construction is one of those programs and the trades as well. And I think before we get started today with the typical questions, Paul, I'd like to talk to you about Project First Rate and just see what, you're kind of like that umbrella over all the trades. Could you explain a little bit more about that for us?
Sure. So Project First Rate represents the local building trades, our trade unions in the construction industry, but I also represent many of the contractors in our industry as well. So all of the signatories to the collective bargaining agreements. So I get to represent labor and management, and essentially the purpose of our organization is to bring those two sides together to work on issues such as apprenticeship programs, education, promotion, community services, to really just promote the work that we do, the benefits of the industry, to help people, recruit the next generation, all of those kind of things. So I have the benefit of working with both sides. I get to explore every aspect of the industry, and that kind of thing.
So I know you're fairly new to Project First Rate. Can you tell us a little bit? And then Jack, when Paul's done, we'll ask you the same. What led you into this field?
Sure. So I had the opportunity to pursue this position with Project First Rate. I'm not from the construction industry. I don't have any background in that, but I do come from a blue-collar family, not a union background, but I'm a student of labor history, the progressive movements that was a huge part of. And so when I had this opportunity, I jumped at it because it's a very proud feeling to represent working men and women of our community, to promote all of the great things that they do for our community, like the Family Peace Center, United Way, all the different things that are going on now. So it's a new experience for me, but I have that background that makes me understand the value of hard work, what people in blue-collar trades are putting in each day, and really fighting for opportunities and benefits so they can live a productive, well-lived life for their families and all that kind of thing. So that's kind of why I pursued this.
So it sounds like you had a little background, which led you right in there. Sure. Awesome. Jack?
I've actually been in construction for 45 years. I grew up in a construction family, and so I've been a carpenter and ran men and had my own company for, it's been 45 years. I've worked for people and had my own company, but 5.5 years ago, I started with Habitat for Humanity as their construction manager, and I just love it. But we work with all different trades. We actually I used to work with Paul, and we do work with Local 23 plumbers, and they do help. They donate all their time on our job sites, and they give up a lot of their times. But I just love construction. It's a good field for anybody to get into.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. We talk a lot about in our schools about the education pathway to get where you're at today. What was the education you have to get to where your career is? If you guys could talk a little bit about yourselves and the education background you have and how you got to your career, and then maybe give us a little bit oversight of good education that the students could take within the pathway, the apprenticeship programs, maybe internship programs, kind of give us a little bit both on that aspect. Jack, if you want to go ahead and start.
Sure. Actually, I actually went to college for 2 years, and then my dad actually talked me into quitting college and came back, and I started running his company back when I was about 20 years old. But actually, my experiences got me a lot in construction. But now for the students, I would say, I know we work with East High School and Guilford, and they have construction classes. And I think Jefferson has construction class, but I would definitely get into the construction classes. And I would get into your computer skills and any drafting, architectural, any of those skills will help. But if you have just the willingness and the know-how to do something, those teachers are very willing to help you out.
Yeah, so I went to college. I went to Illinois State University, kind of traditional college pathway. But what I did when I got back into Rockford after college is I went into nonprofit organization. That's how Jack and I ended up working together at Habitat. So I really, prior to coming to Project First Rate, got a wide array of experience in nonprofit management, fundraising, all of those things. And so it was a great transition when I went to Project First Rate, as we are a nonprofit organization with a mission of promoting this industry and getting students into these programs. So it was a pretty simple fit there. As far as pathways into the trades, the union trades, a lot of the things that Jack said, take those tech and trade classes, take shop classes when it's available, just work on things with your hands, learn basic math skills, learn those soft skills, how to show up, how to conflict resolution, all of those things that are going to be helpful in any job, but particularly in the skilled trades as well.
So Brian, can you tell us a little bit about what led you into this career path? What did you do to get ready for it? How did you know you wanted to do it? How did you get here today?
Well, I got out of high school. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Like a lot of people, joined the Army, came out of the Army. My dad, all my uncles are tradesmen. Pursued a job in the Carpenters Union. Had built a couple houses, and talked to a guy, and he said, "Yeah, I'd like to hire you." And still friends with that guy today, 20 years ago. And the career has led me to a point in my life where I've got retirement, I've got insurance, fair wage. And that's where I'm at right now.
And Brian, you're at the Carpenters Training Center, and what is your title there?
I'm not in the Carpenters Training Center.
Oh,
I'm
you're
a
not?
Carpenters business agent.
Carpenters
representative.
Business agent. Okay,
Yes.
see, I'm learning new things every day.
Yeah, I was just at the training center just a few minutes ago. But,
Okay.
yeah, so our Carpenters Training Center, I'm a business agent, so I go to job. I check on members, handle day-to-day type things as far as that's concerned. The training center, we train on everything from flooring to roofing, welding, steel studs, wood framing, anything that goes into building a building, we handle all of that at the training center.
So students that get into construction can actually also learn other pieces that go along with it, as far as plumbing and electrical, and is that correct, or am I incorrect in that?
No, our section of the building is basically structural, and it goes everything from flooring to the ceiling tile to the roof, soffit and fascia, wrapping the building. But the plumbers and pipe fitters, they handle all the water pipes, all the gas pipes. The electricians handle everything electrical in the building, whether it be high voltage or low voltage, like a security alarm. They handle that end. So the trades are kind of broken up into a point where bricklayers handle all the brick work and all the ceramic tile work. The electricians handle their end. The pipe fitters and plumbers handle their end. The carpenters handle our end. And it works out very well that everybody is trained in one area where they specifically know what they're doing and they've been trained.
So students, look at me, I thought I knew everything and I didn't know it. So we just got a little education here. I want to talk a little bit about certifications. So in the school districts that we serve, one of the things we're able to do at CNC is buy the software licensure, and then the students can actually certify. Are there any types of certifications that would be helpful with students coming out of school to get them a better foot into your industries?
I think for us, the more classes they can take, like what Paul said, the more, I don't know about the certification.
So like OSHA, And I know there's a woodworking, construction type certification, I believe Jill Jennings does at Jefferson. So you're more looking towards skills.
We work with just building the houses. They actually build 2 houses for us. East High School and Guilford builds a house for us right now. So we're in that part, but the teacher themselves, they have I know like on Guilford, they have construction 1, construction 2, and they come out for about 3 years and they're building a house. So they're on their 4th house right now. So
Awesome.
Yeah, I think to elaborate on that, one of the things that we've really talked a lot about is on certifications or things that these students can have on their resume that might help them when they graduate or further their career. So a lot of it, like if we talk about manufacturing, some of it might be in like CNC controls, FANUC controls, things like that. So from a trade standpoint, if a student wants to further their career or graduate from high school with some sort of accreditation or certification, is that going to help them on their resume to get a job? Or is it more of the work experience, the skill that they have? But is there any certification that you could recommend that they receive prior that would help build their resume and build their skill set?
I don't think so. I think that hands-on experience for a student that figures out that the work that he's looking forward to doing for a career, he or she is comfortable doing that work and wants to pursue it. I think that's probably more important than anything. When they join the apprenticeship for the Carpenters, immediately they do first aid, CPR, OSHA training, scaffold, lift equipment. They do all the safety stuff before they get into the classes where they're concentrated on specific things, whether it be a laminate countertop or whatever. But I think as a high school student, if you show that you are pursuing this work and you've done a little bit of it to where it's something that's interesting to you, that you want to move forward, I think that's the most important part.
Great, thank you. Paul, do you have anything you'd like to add on that?
I think they covered it and talked about a lot of things. I was going to say is having a dedication to what you want to do, being willing to show up, having some math skills, taking some shop classes are beneficial. But yeah, like we were just talking about, the apprenticeship programs provide all of those things that you'll need once you actually are on the job site and you're out there. So I think they covered it well.
actually, we've gotten about 8 students' jobs into the union. So that we've gotten a couple of them in the electrical union, and I know there's 2 or 3 into the plumbers. I don't think we've gotten any in the carpenters union, but we'd like to work with you on that.
Send them over. Send them over. We'll put them to work.
That leads us into another question that our students quite frequently ask about in their career fields of what they're going into. One of the biggest topic of conversations is, what is my salary? And what does it look like for me to have opportunity for growth? And what is the amount of money I'm going to make? So Paul, let's let you have a start. You can start on this one and let us know, give us some guidelines on these trades of what an opportunity for salary and for growth within the trades.
Sure. So it varies by what, specific trades, but all of our local building trades, once you are a journeyman and you've gotten past your apprenticeship program, you're out in the field, you are making solid middle-class wages and getting retirement, pension, healthcare, to a point that is really in many industries not accessible, and is not available to many people, especially in blue-collar jobs. So you can live a very good middle-class life. You can be secure with your family, all of the things that you need through any of the trades that I have the privilege of representing. One of the key points about apprenticeship programs as well is that you are actually, in counter to the college experience, which I can testify to, where you're typically leaving that experience with debt, you're actually going to be being paid while you're getting an education. So not only do you not have debt after you're out of it and have a job, essentially, you're getting paid that whole time. Now it's typically 40 or 50% of what a journeyman would make, depending on the trade, but that's better than taking on debt, right? You're making income. So I guess I would just leave it at, if you get into one of the skilled trades and you stick with it and you get out and you're working on the job site, you will have a wage that can sustain a family, is a true livable wage for you, your kids, your spouse, whoever.
Very nice. Good explanation. Thank you for that. So I'm just going to ask a couple last questions to finish up our session here. I want to talk a little bit about teamwork, collaboration, working alone versus working together, and how important that could or could not be in the trades field. So, Brian, do you want to talk a little bit on that?
Well, yeah. In the trades, a lot of times you're working with a small group of people. Most jobs, 4 to 5 people. Big jobs, you might be working with 30 to 40 people in your group doing the same work. Other times you might go to a job on your own, and it gives you a kind of a broad range of working with a bunch of people or working with one person or yourself. And there's challenges with all of it. You deal with a lot of people, or you get to the job and it's very difficult for one guy, or one person, I should say, sorry. But I've done it all. Over 20 years, I've done every piece of it, and I didn't dislike any of it. There's good with working on your own, spending your time doing your own job. There's good with working with 20 people, and everybody's got a piece of the puzzle, and at the end of the day, the job's done.
And Jack, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, actually, one reason why I've been successful in what I'm doing is because I'm a people person. It's more like it's our way instead of my way. You have to, the big thing is for people to just get along with people and just trust others and work with them.
Perfect. I love that. Getting along, being people person. And I also love, Brian, that there's a various style to this. It doesn't always have to be teamwork, and sometimes it could be alone, so we need to be flexible. So one last question. What advice would you give someone that's interested in this role, preferably coming out of high school? What would be something that you'd like to leave the students with today?
I would say definitely concentrate on your math skills. That is everywhere in the world, and every single aspect of construction is based on math, like many things in the world. You have to work on that, and when you do join any of the apprenticeship programs, whether it be pipe fitters or carpenters, we have classes during the apprenticeship to raise your math level to where you feel comfortable going on the job. Math is very important. You've got to want to show up for work, and you've got to get to work and work hard, and at the end of the day, turn around and look at what you did, and you'll be satisfied.
Jack, you have anything for that?
I would say take whatever construction classes you can and just take whatever. And it is true, the math. I really did not like math when I was a kid, and I use it every day, all day long. That's all we use all the time. And if you get into construction, it's actually a good field. You learn to just meet a lot of people, and it's a fun field to get into. So,
Go ahead, Paul.
I think my parting thought on this, anyone who's considering a trade, is never think of an apprenticeship program or a career in the skilled trades as less than going to college. These are the people who build the world you see in front of you, who build famous structures, who build the roads, who build your home, anything like that. It is a skilled trade. You have a very respected profession when you go into this, and you can, as I mentioned earlier, make a very solid middle-class wage and be proud of what you do. So never think of it as anything less. and really consider the various options, explore the many trades that are out there, especially in our region, and ask questions, call people, ask around, and just learn what a good fit for you is, because there's a lot of very great careers out there doing this kind of work.
Great, thank you. I think that's a great way to end it, because I think that's a great way to tell the students that don't think of it anything less. These are great careers that you can have and be very successful at, and explore and research. And I think we've heard that across the board today, is not knowing what you're going to do, but call people and ask the questions. I'm sure each one of you would talk to a student and give them guidance on how to go about the career. So thank you so much for being here today. We really greatly appreciate it.